Hi you guys, welcome back. So in my last video, we talked about some of the findings regarding the Village of Dolton's financial situation that former Mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, was able to unearth. Well, as everyone, including me, was busy talking about that meeting and finding out how much reckless spending was actually going on, there was another bit of news that came out very shortly after that. I know, with this Tiffany Henyard saga, you blink an eye, something else is happening. You better believe it. So this guy right here is Lacey, and he's Dolton's deputy police chief. Or shall I say he was? I don't know. There was word out that he had been fired, but his lawyer said that the Dolton trustees don't have the legal authority to fire him, and that only Tiffany Henyard could do that.
The board voted last night to place the village's top cop on administrative leave, only for him to defiantly return to work.
Based on the board's directive, different individuals aren't following the board's directive. There was a deputy chief that was placed on administrative leave. He disregarded that and showed up the very next day. He then received a notice that he was terminated. Despite being notified that he was terminated, he again showed up today.
Lacey's employment status here in Dolton a bit cloudy right now. Last week, the trustees placed him on paid administrative leave. He told me he was continuing to show up to work after that because they didn't have the power to put him on leave. The village then sent him a termination letter, and I'm told he kept showing up even after his firing.
So as it stands today, he is still reporting to work. But that's not the real scandal here, you guys. The most recent findings about Lacey is that he has been federally indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges.
The acting police chief of Dolton now facing federal charges. A grand jury indicted him on bankruptcy fraud charges today.
Deputy Chief Lacey indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. He's accused of concealing his income from creditors, misleading statements as they sought to recoup nearly $90,000 in unpaid debts. Lacey is a close ally of Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the second one to be indicted on bankruptcy fraud.
Now, if you've been following this Tiffany Henyard drama, saga, whatever you want to call it, you might know that this is not the first person within Tiffany's close circle who has been indicted on bankruptcy fraud charges. Yes, I mean, they just can't get right over there, all right? This guy right here, his name is Keith Freeman, and he was charged back in April on bankruptcy charges as well, okay? For lying, saying that he didn't work for Dolton, lying on the paperwork when he was filing for bankruptcy, basically, about his income. Now, I don't know what it is about them and this bankruptcy fraud, but like I said, they just can't seem to get right. So when Keith Freeman, also known as Keith the Thief Freeman, was indicted and going to court for his bankruptcy case, there were rumors that he had flipped on Tiffany and was working with the feds to cipher information about what's really going on behind the scenes. I don't know if that was the case or not, but eventually Tiffany fired him from his position over in Thornton Township, where Tiffany holds the supervisor position there. And so she fired him from there, and at this latest Village of Dolton's board meeting, she was not shy about expressing her anger when she realized the board of trustees had not voted to have Keith Freeman fired, but that they had voted to have others fired instead.
Next on the agenda, we're going straight to Keith Freeman. So, board of trustees, what do you want to do?
I have a question because you said he's terminated. So look, why are we?
Oh, wait, hold on. Because y'all always say, that I don't come to y'all. Hold on. We're gonna play the little silly game right now. So they kept saying you gotta bring it to the board. You gotta put it on the agenda. So what I do? It's on the agenda. So that's why I asked that. So why would you ask that redundant question of talking about why I'm asking y'all? You guys asked me to put it on the agenda. It is on the agenda because we wanted your input, your opinion, right? So it's on the agenda for your input and your opinion because you kept saying that you guys have to vote on it. Is that not what y'all kept saying? Y'all say y'all got to vote on it. So here we are. So, Board of Trustees, is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman? Dun, dun, dun. There y'all go. What we doing? Is there a motion to terminate Keith Freeman? What we doing? Y'all gotta huddle up. Y'all gotta huddle up real quick. We'll take a 3 seconds. What y'all want to do? Y'all had to talk about it and get it together yet? Y'all doing signals across the room. What we doing? Y'all motioning it up. What we doing? Y'all quiet. Y'all quiet as a church mouse, as I say. This the person y'all can't stand. Y'all don't like. This what y'all say. He's never at work. He don't do his job. Is this what y'all say? So what we doing, guys? To vote on all these individuals. But the person that they all complain about is now up for a motion in a second to terminate. So, Keith Freeman, I know you watching. You no longer works for the Village of Dolton. Please turn in your keys, turn in all your stuff. HR reach out to you tomorrow as relates to your fire.
So my guess as to why the board didn't fire Keith is because he may be cooperating with the board and the feds now that he has no choice to. And that's just my opinion, as nothing has been proven yet. But getting back to Chief Lacey, he was indicted on not only 1, not 2, but 9 counts of either making false statements while filing for bankruptcy or knowingly giving false income amounts during his bankruptcy proceedings. Some of these counts include the following. So the first count has to do about a lawsuit against Lacey where they were seeking a judgment in the amount of $88,800. They ended up settling on $55,000 after some back and forth. I guess the final amount was $43,000. But of course, even that Lacey didn't want to pay. So what he did is filed for bankruptcy. And when you file for bankruptcy, I guess they issue what's called an automatic stay. And what that does is it basically stops creditors from harassing you and filing lawsuits against you. So with him filing for bankruptcy, it pretty much put a stop to them trying to collect that money that he owed for the settlement. That's just a quick, brief explanation that I could find, you guys. I am not a lawyer, okay? So I'm not going to go all into the legalities of it or whatever. I'm not familiar with all that terminology. So that's part of that initial count. What he is being accused of is also lying, okay? During this bankruptcy proceeding, when he went to do this and that automatic stay started, he lied about his wife living with him and her contributing to the household expenses, and even at one point had the nerve to say he made less than $700 a month. Okay, to be exact, he falsely represented his net monthly income as $617. I mean, come on, do better. Okay. As a deputy police chief, he really said he made less than $700 a month? I mean, the gall of him. The absolute arrogance and confidence he has in his ability to just sit up there and lie to whoever, whenever, about whatever. At least that's my opinion from what I have seen and heard. And you guys, to add to this, between 1984 and July 2019, Lacey has filed a total of 7 bankruptcy cases in the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Illinois. Yes, 7. Okay, I tell you, I don't know what's going on with Keith Freeman and Lacey and this bankruptcy stuff, but obviously they're not the ones that need to be at the top of the chain when it comes to making financial decisions for a village. But we know these are the exact type of people that Tiffany Henyard wants to surround herself with, okay? People who are not afraid to lie, people who are not afraid to go above and beyond to get what they want out of the town. That's just my opinion so far from everything that I've seen and everything that I've heard. And so basically all these other counts are just them getting him on every time he's just actually sat up there and lied and given false documentation or not giving the right income documentation about his income and his spouse's income and the amounts he said he has in his bank accounts opposed to what he actually had. I mean, just a whole lot of lying on different dates and separate occasions that has compiled up to all these counts. Okay, so as we can see, the people that Tiffany chooses to surround herself with are anything but law-abiding citizens, allegedly. Okay, but what I really wanted to showcase in this video is that the issues and concerns surrounding Lacey's moral compass and his overall ability to handle conflict with a level head and in the right manner didn't just start when he was sworn in with the Tiffany Henyard administration. Let's take a trip back in time, because you guys know we like to do that here. The video I'm going to show you is of a board meeting that occurred when Tiffany Henyard was still a trustee. This lady right here brings her concerns regarding Lacey before the board. Let's watch.
And I'm glad that we were actually talking about police today, which is very important. There's no way in the world I would want to lose not one police officer, knowing how serious we need police officers. But my issue today is about a police officer. On October 19th, the police were called to a neighbor of mine's home whom I had been assisting in moral support and trying to help her get a roof fixed. My neighbor is 79 years old with several debilitating issues. The policeman who came out was Officer and Acting Chief Director or Chief Deputy Lacey and Officer Boyd. There were also two adjusters out there at the home that time. One was a public adjuster who was working for the neighbor, and the other one was an all-state adjuster working for Allstate. Officer Boyd did the corrective measures by making sure everyone who was there had their credentials. I lived a few doors down, so I had to go and get mine. When I came back, I gave Officer Boyd my ID. He handed it back to me, and I walked over to where Officer Lacey was and the public adjusters were. As Officer Lacey was talking to the public adjusters who were also assisting my neighbor, I started taking pictures and recording information as far as with the Allstate's claim adjuster, who actually kind of started everything, and was trying to record the information because I not only witnessed what happened, actually I was some sort of way brought into it, and was trying to record information for my own well-being. When Officer Lacey told me to stop, so I started trying to record again. He told me to stop, and if I did it again, he was going to arrest me. And I felt that this was my public right because they were recording as well. I asked him immediately why he didn't answer me in reference to why I had to stop recording, but he just kept taunting me, letting me know and telling me he was going to take me to jail. For me, that was a red flag. Every time I would try and ask a question, he wouldn't answer my question. He just started talking to me in a very condescending and intimidating tone and kept taunting me. I looked at him and I asked him, I said, "Officer," I said, "did I do something? Did I say something out of place? Did I do something wrong?" I was able to talk to Officer Lacey, and I was able to try to give him my statement as to what was going on. Officer Lacey then asked me, was I her power of attorney? I told him no. Her daughter lives in Minnesota. That's her power of attorney. And then he told me I can't help her and I need a power of attorney, which to me he was wrong again because I wasn't asking her to sign no paper, no contract. I wasn't asking her to give up no money. I was only there for moral support to make sure that she understood what was going on. You say help your neighbor, and that's what I was trying to do. And Officer Lacey then just started acting rude towards me, taunting me, bullying me in a manner as if he wanted me to react to his strange behavior. Definitely you to be aware. I needed the board to be aware. I needed the public to be aware because if this man is suffering from some sort of mental illness, everybody needs to be aware. And he needs to have that camera on. I don't care where he's at.
So as we can see, there were definitely warning signs, even from residents who had one-on-one interactions with Lacey back then. So one might ask themselves, well, why did Tiffany Henyard decide to go ahead and bring him on under her administration? She ended up promoting him, actually, because before there was Chief Collins, and then she went ahead and promoted Lacey when Chief Collins went ahead and left on out of there. So one would just think, why would she promote him if there was already these issues that existed, and she was there as a trustee in that board meeting, and she heard the residents' concern, and she seemed to agree at that time?
Bottom line for me, I thought these were red flags to me. And I feel that Officer Lacey's integrity should be questioned because whatever it is that you don't like about me and you don't even know me personally, don't mean that you should take it out on your professional job of protecting me as a citizen and I'm helping to pay your salary. Never in the history of Dolton have I ever been a part of or witnessed anything as atrocious and dysfunctional as what he showed me on that particular day. Again, I don't know Officer Lacey. I've never had conversation with him. We've never met face to face. So I'm trying to figure out what is this that you have against me that make you even want to taunt me and talk to me like that. And I asked the other officer as well. He said, "Ma'am, I don't know what's going on." You know, and I asked him, had I done something wrong? He said no. But also, in effect to that, he's kind of to me like a loose cannon.
But then she turns around and promotes him to be like right under her when she becomes mayor. So you guys, just the decision making overall is very questionable when it comes to Tiffany Henyard, right? Not only the decision making, but just her overall personality and the way she treats people was very bad back then, and now it's just gotten worse that she's gotten more power.
Because y'all got false narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black. And y'all sitting up here beating and attacking on a black woman that's in power. Y'all should be ashamed of yourselves.
And what baffles me more is that he is still working in the village of Dolton as the police chief. So if the people who are there supporting Tiffany Henyard don't see this as a red flag, I don't know what else will open their eyes. When the police chief, the one who's been right beside her the whole time, supporting her, and he's supposed to be there for the citizens, he is supposed to be trustworthy, but yet he's getting indicted on bankruptcy fraud. I don't know what else to say after that, okay? But you guys, that's going to be it for today. Once again, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to leave it a like. And if you're new here, subscribe.
And in effect to that, he's kind of to me like a loose cannon. I needed the public to be aware, because if this man is suffering from some sort of mental illness, everybody needs to be aware.
Because y'all got false narratives out there, and y'all should be ashamed of yourself. Y'all black. Y'all are black.